Hi everyone, welcome to the OneCodeCamp channel. So for today, we've got an exciting project in our hands. We're about to create an EJS to-do list app from scratch. So get ready to learn how to create, manage, and organize your tasks with the power of EJS. So let's get started.
Hi, welcome to OneCodeCamp channel. I am Ian, and in this series of videos, I'll walk you through on how to use embedded JavaScript, or most commonly referred to as EJS. Let's get started. Before we start into any of our coding, let us first understand what EJS is about. We are now here on the EJS documentation website. That's EJS.co. If you're going to take a look down here, it defines EJS as a simple templating language that lets us generate HTML markup with plain JavaScript. So in short, EJS is just like an embedded JavaScript which we use to directly embed JavaScript code into our HTML templates or to our HTML files. It provides a way to create dynamic web pages with ease as we like to combine the power of JavaScript with those HTML templates. It's also particularly useful for rendering dynamic content in server-side applications or for creating interactive components on the client side. Now, we are going to create a simple to-do list project using, of course, EJS. We are going to integrate both front-end and back-end components in it. First, we will need to create a folder. So let's close our browser, and on our desktop, let us create a new folder. We can just name it EJS. And then let's bring up our Visual Studio Code. Once this is up, we're going to open up our EJS folder from here. Open folder, and there. Close up, save. Alright, now once we have our project folder, we're ready to install the required dependencies to create an EJS template. First, you need to open our terminal. Okay, now you need to make sure that your terminal is pointing at the exact location of our EJS folder. So this is looking good. Once this is up, we will now try to install our dependencies. Let me make this bigger so you can see properly. Okay. Now we're going to run the command npm. This should be init -y. And then now I will need to make sure that you guys have node.js and then also npm or the node package manager already installed on your local computers for this to work. If not, I will link another video that we created for that topic so you can follow that along and have those other technologies ready. Now, once this is up, once we have the package.json inside our EJS folder, we're gonna next install Express, and then let's just put in the EJS dependency in here as well, so we can have them installing at the same time. Now, this will load up for quite a few minutes. While that's loading up, let us now create our project directory. So we will, of course, need to create our server. We will assign the file app.js for that. And then we will also need to create another folder. You can name it view. It should be views. Let's add an S in that. Okay, now this views folder is going to contain all of our EJS templates. And then inside it, let's create index.ejs. Now, normally inside the views folder, there will be lots of other EJS templates inside, depending on how complicated or how big your project is. But since we are only creating a simple to-do list app, we will only be using a single file, which will be this index.ejs file. Now, once everything has been installed, so this tells us that every dependencies and packages has been installed correctly. So we are now ready to put in our code. Let's start with, of course, our server file. So here inside our app.js file, that serves as our server for this project. First, we're going to require Express. So that should be cons, creating a variable Express, and we're telling it to require Express. Okay, and then for the second line, we are declaring an app variable. We're calling the express function through it. So these lines create like an instance of the Express application. by us invoking the express function. Like this app variable in here, this app variable we wrote, we will use this to configure routes, middleware, and other settings for this application we're making. And then last up here would be our port. We would like to set it maybe for 3000. So you can actually set up any port available that you want to preview or make your project be working on. Totally up to you to choose your port of choice. Right, now let's create a space here, and then we're gonna write app.set view engine, and then here is EJS. Now this line, this one sets the view engine to EJS. It like tells the Express that we are going to use EJS as the template engine for rendering those dynamic HTML content that we will be showing or we will get to see later on. Okay, and then let's create another variable. This is what's going to hold all of the tasks that we're going to input in our to-do list. So it'll be inside the variable task, and we are going to store them in an array. Then app.get rec, and the rest. Let me complete this, and then let's go bit by bit on what these pieces of code means. Render depth task is equals to task. Don't forget our semicolon here and down here as well. Now these code of block, it is the one responsible for setting up a route for handling the GET request to our root path. Now, every time we go to the URL or to this project's live server or to the the local host of our live server, whenever we use this slash that serves as the root path, it will of course use the REST and the request method. These are like what's going to render the index view, this EJS template as a whole, and then pass the task variable array into the project. And then what's going to happen next is that the EJS template will be used will be using this data to display the list of every task that we are going to input into our project. And then we have another code of block in here. So let's say app.post. So this time, this is for posting the request, and then we're using a rec and a res method again. We're using another arrow function in task. Let's say rec the body that task, and then next is to push that into another array we name new task res that redirect, and then it should go back to our root hub. So let's see, where are we getting these errors from? Okay, we forgot a comment here. All right, now this code of block, this time it sets up a route for handling the post request to this add path. Now we added another path on our project which have we named add. It is for adding the items or for adding a task into our to-do list project. Whenever like a user submits a task through the form that we will be creating later on in our EJS template, this will be the route that will be triggered. This rec that body task code in here, it retrieves the new task from the form data, and then the new task is then added to the task array, and then the response is redirected back to the root path. And then effectively after refreshing the page, it should now add the newly added item or the newly added task that we input as a user. Then for the last block of code, so since we already implement or we already wrote in here the get and post function, we are now ready to have this up and running to our port. So with this block of code, this is what's going to show everything we did on the port that we assign it to. Console.log. So we want to send a message on the console once we're able to successfully input an item or input a task to our to-do list. So we want to say server is running on port, and then let's try to make this dynamic. So let's say port. We're targeting this port variable or this port variable that we state in here, and then it will implement whatever port number did we assign it to. So we're making it dynamic so that if we feel like we need to change the port or by any chance it's not working, maybe not available anymore, we can change that without doing anything on this part anymore. And then don't forget our semicolon, and then semicolon in here as well. And we are now okay with our server file, our app.js file. Let's now go to our index.ejs. Now for our index.ejs file, this will pretty much be looking like a normal HTML file. So we're declaring the doc type, and then down here is the HTML tag that we wanna include or declare the language so we can avoid. That's actually not necessary, but it might produce any error. So we're trying to avoid that by declaring the language already. So in here, aside from declaring the language, we also want to declare the meta of this project we're creating, and we're going to set it up to the standard UTF-8. Okay, and then next to that is, let's give our project a title. Let's just say to-do list. And that's it for the heading, for the head tag. Now down here for the body tag, let's create an H1. And then let's just put in here the title or the name of our project. And then we're going to create an ordered list. And then this is where our EJS template will be started. So we're calling in this variable task from our app.js file we created for earlier. We're going to call in or use in a for each method. And it's task is equals to, gonna use the % again. Let me see, opening bracket in here. Let's see. This should be inside the bracket. And then this is how we're going to open and close our EJS lines inside our template using this. I forgot what it's called, but these brackets in here. So inside our list item will be each task plus, and the individual task, send, close it with another of that tag, and then of course we close it with a list item closing tag. And then in here, okay, let's open up a new line here. This is what's going to close our EJS line, like that. And then let's get rid of this tool to avoid confusion. Okay, and that's all inside our unordered list. Now, aside from an ordered list that will be showing the item or the task that we have already entered, we of course wanted to also render the form. And then of course we're going to add those routes that we also added in our server. We have the add, and then for the method we want it to be post. And then down here is where we're going to indicate our input. For the type, you want to be able to accept text for the input. And then let's name this input as task. And as a placeholder, let's add in a placeholder as well. We just want to say add a new task. So this is what's going to appear on the field where we are supposed to add in the task so that our user will have an idea on what to put on it. Okay, required. And then lastly, let's include a call to action button. Add in a button type. Let's add in a submit button. And then let's have this button say add task. Okay, that's it. I think we're good with this. Now let's save that. And let's see if this will run. Now, the way for us to see if it's going to work or not is if we can have it preview on our port by activating our live server. So let us first run node app.js in here. Okay, this, I think we might have not done this properly since it's not showing the port number, which is we have indicated as 3000. Let's try to get back to that. It's port 3000, and then we actually miss a part in here. So after setting up the EJS as our template, we of course will be needing to use to indicate the Express URL encoded. We add that up right here. Express the URL encoded. Okay, and then inside we want to say extended, and then set it to true. Now this line of code is what's going to add the middleware to our Express application. This Express URL encoded code. This means that the middleware is used to parse incoming request bodies with URL encoded payloads. Now, this extended through is an option that allows us for parsing rich objects, or in our case, arrays, since we are going to store the task being entered by the user in an array. So let's see this. Try running this again. Let's gonna go to live server. Let me minimize this so I can bring the browser here. Close the file explorer, and then let's wait for the live server to come up. And it's here on my other monitor. If for any reason we are redirected to a different port, let's try to edit that in manually. So we stated 3000. Okay. So this is what we wanted to see. Now, this is the template, the index.ejs template we created in here. This is the h1 tag. This is where we wanted to display the task that we will be adding in between our header one and our form. And then, well, this is the form that we created. Please input field in here, and then our button. And then this is the placeholder. Add a new task. Okay. Let's now see if it's working. So for the task, let's say throw the task. Okay. And then let's see. Let's try to get groceries. Okay. As you can see, our to-do list is functioning. We were able to create a simple application that inputs or lets a user put in the task that they will need to do, and then we were able to successfully have them reflected here on the exact place where we indicated. All right, and then looking back in our server file, I think I was able to find out the reason this is not displaying the port number dynamically is that this is supposed to be a backtick instead of a single quotation. So let's replace that, save the changes, and then let's run this again. Okay, there we have it. All right, now as you can see, we were able to demonstrate how to create or how do EJS templates work along with any Express project. Now, on our next video, we will be discussing in depth what we can do on EJS templates further. Of course, there's a lot of features and functions that we would like to explore. And also, we will try to encounter or to intentionally get some errors. And of course, for us to experience how to deal with them and what we can do to avoid them in the future. So thank you for watching this video, and I hope to see you on the next one. Bye!